Side control is a very common position that you may find yourself in on the ground, especially if it's someone that isn't too experienced in the grappling world. They might just try and squeeze and hold on to you. They might try and just throw punches to you. There's a million different ways that you can use to get out of side control position and get back up to your feet. Today, we are simply just going to focus on a couple basic options that work against any body size, and it all revolves around one concept, and that is framing. So just to understand the position as a whole, when someone is in side control, the biggest thing that you have to take note is this arm right here as they apply this cross-face pressure. And the purpose of this is that they're going to be squeezing your face, they're driving the shoulder pressure into you, and basically they're making it as uncomfortable as possible for me to turn my head and body towards them. Because if I can't turn my head, my body can't really turn, which means my only option to escape is away from him, which then exposes the back. So that's not good. The next thing to take note is a lot of times these guys are going to keep these knees really tight up against your side, which again prevents me from being able to work my arms. So unfortunately, the framework that you need to do is what's supposed to defeat both of these, but you have to work it in there. So again, because we're on the street, the first frame that we're going to focus on is the bottom. Now you want to focus on getting 3 points of contact. First one is going to be here. My goal is to get it in about halfway. If I drop this arm too much, I'm not going to have the pressure, and he can easily just collapse it or shift his knee. And again, if I'm too high up, same idea, he can easily collapse it or just shuffle the arm up higher, and again, it becomes useless. So I want it ideally about halfway, just enough to where I can keep my arm on like a 45-degree angle, keeps enough pressure where as he pushes in, I'm able to hold this a little bit. Now, if he's being a real ass about it and keeping this nice and tight, I can start by dropping some hard elbows or simply dropping an elbow and grinding this arm down until I get into this position. But again, do what you need to do. The second frame is focused on this hand underneath the chin. Now, if their head is sticking up, sure, I can drive the hand in here, I can drive the forearm in here. You can apply all sorts of pressure and make it as uncomfortable for them as possible. But experienced guys are going to use that head pressure and start working your arm out. You also want to be careful that they don't collapse this arm too far over here, as now you're going to put yourself to sleep with the triangle. So I want to make sure that this arm swims underneath the chin, and as I get underneath the chin across the throat, I'm going to rotate my hand and start palming my hand up. Now, do not expect to bench press this person, but I'm simply just putting enough pressure, and as you start getting pressure on the throat, they're going to react. Once I get this pressure, an extra safety note is just to take grab of their clothing here just as a stronger grip, so it's hard for them to break it. But now I've got 2 points. I got the throat, I've got the hip, last is the feet. Now, ideally, I want to get this knee in here. Now again, we are on the street, so if you want to throw some knees to loosen them up a bit, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm to walk my feet a little bit, drop and shift my hips. If I'm able to drive that knee in all the way on the first try, awesome. If not, you walk your hips a little bit more, drop, and I shift that knee back in. Now keep in mind that he's going to be trying to pressure in this whole time, but as long as you keep your framework and then I get my shin to shin contact, I can start working this pressure and I can start working back to create space. And again, I can start now shifting my hands to press on the shoulder, press on either shoulder, press on the head. All I'm trying to do is press this person away from me, and as he pushes in, that's going to allow me to scoot back. If it comes to the case where this person just overpowers you and bulldozes through, just look to pull guard and lash this person down as you kind of contemplate what's going on and figure out your next movement. And this is kind of my last resort position. I don't want to end up in guard, but if I had to pick something, this would be the last resort. I can hold this person down, I can prevent him from punching me. Eventually I can work sweeps, chokes from here, but again, this is just a good way to kind of buckle down if shit hits the fan. Otherwise, if I get my points of contact in here, I can start working this pressure back. I'm going to start working up onto my forearm, eventually up onto my hand, and we're slowly working towards our tactical stand-up position. Again, as he continues to pressure, I switch to the head, and I drive the head straight down to the ground as I work back up to my feet, and we get away safely. Again, he's pressuring in, you work your point of contact, create that space a little bit, he continues to drive, and you just work that spacing. Your other option, and something that may arise in this situation, after he starts feeling this pressure, some guys might release his crossface and look to overstep that arm and drop their hips to the side, and this kind of completely defeats the framing purpose. So once you get here, there's other options, but we're going to focus on just what happens if we see this arm transferred. So if this arm comes over, I have to immediately release this hand from the hip and shift it to behind the arm, release his hand from the neck, and cut my hand as well. Now from here, I got two arms pressuring behind his armpit. As he tries to pressure back into me, I can literally just start scooting my hips out. It's gonna be very difficult for him to be able to hold me down. I can continue to work up to my frame here. I start scooting back. Again, if he really pressures in, I can switch back to the head. And again, we can work back up to a stand-up position. So both ways work. Again, at the end of the day, even if this person's squeezing on nice and tight, if I can work my framework in here, you swing this arm underneath, I get my frame. As he pressures back into me, no matter what he's doing, I can work back up. You can work sweeps, you can work submissions if you want to, but at the end of the day, we just want to get back to our feet. So those are two basic ways that you can get out of side control. Again, it all just kind of depends on how this person reacts, but the biggest takeaway to take from this is simply to focus on the 3 points of contact, how the framing works properly, and how you use that momentum to work yourself back up to your feet through the tactical position. So give it a shot, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.